The screaming had finally stopped 3 hours ago. Lily pressed her small hands against the cold metal wall of the prison cell and tried not to think about why. She was 7 years old, and she understood more than the adults thought she did. The gray-skinned aliens who had attacked their colony ship were called Craven. They took people and sold them. Her parents were somewhere on this ship, but she did not know where. 46 other children sat in the large cell with her. Some cried quietly, others stared at nothing. A woman named Dr. Cole sat in the corner, holding 2 of the youngest ones. She was a scientist who studied aliens, and she kept telling the children that everything would be okay. Lily wanted to believe her, but she could see the fear in the woman's eyes. The door opened with a harsh sound. 3 Craven guards walked in, their reptilian faces showing no emotion. They wore black armor that made clicking sounds when they moved. One of them pointed at Lily. "This one," he said in rough English. "Captain wants the loud one." Lily's heart started beating fast. She had been loud yesterday. When the guards took a boy named Tim away to work in the engine room, she had yelled at them. She called them bullies and cowards. The other children had gasped, and Dr. Cole had pulled her back. But it was too late. The guards had noticed her. "No," Dr. Cole stood up quickly. "Take me instead." "She's just a child," the guard laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. "Captain Drove does not negotiate with cargo. The spawn comes now." 2 guards grabbed Lily's arms. Their hands were rough and cold. She wanted to struggle, but she remembered what her mother always said. "Sometimes you have to be brave, even when you're terrified." Lily lifted her chin and walked between them without fighting. She heard Dr. Cole crying behind her. She heard Tim calling her name. The guards took her through narrow corridors that smelled like oil and something else she could not name. Other aliens stopped to watch as they passed. Some looked curious. Others looked away quickly. They brought her to a large door made of thick metal. Above it, strange symbols glowed red. Captain Drove waited there. He was taller than the other Craven, with scars across his face and arms. His eyes were yellow and cold. Next to him stood a younger guard who looked nervous. His name tag said Bren in human letters. "The Defiant Spawn," Drove said, looking down at Lily. "You made noise yesterday. You upset my crew. You made the other cargo restless." Lily said nothing. Her legs shook, but she kept her chin up. "Do you know what we do to creatures that cause problems?" Drove leaned closer. His breath smelled terrible. "We feed them to the Wraith." Lily did not know what a Wraith was, but she understood the word feed. The other guards stepped back from the door. Even Bren looked scared. "The Wraith has served on this ship for 80 years, Drove continued. "It has consumed over 300 beings from across the galaxy. Nothing survives the Wraith, not soldiers, not criminals, certainly not small human spawn." He pressed a button on the wall. The metal door began to open slowly. A wave of hot air rushed out, carrying a smell like burning metal and something ancient. Darkness filled the space beyond. Lily could hear breathing, deep, slow breathing that made the air vibrate. "Please," Lily whispered. She could not help it. "I'll be quiet." "I promise." "Too late," Drove said. He nodded to the guards. They picked Lily up and threw her through the door. She landed hard on a metal floor that felt warm under her hands. The door began closing immediately. She scrambled up and ran back, but it sealed before she could reach it. The sound of the locks engaging echoed in the huge space. Lily turned slowly. The chamber was massive, easily as big as her school gymnasium back on Earth. Dim lights in the ceiling cast shadows everywhere. Chains hung from the walls. Dark stains covered the floor. In the center of the room sat a large shape that she first thought was a machine. Then it moved. The wraith unfolded itself from the shadows. Lily's mouth opened, but no sound came out. It was as big as an elephant, covered in scales that looked like black glass. 4 legs, each ending in claws as long as her arm. Wings folded against its sides. A long tail that scraped across the floor. And a head like something from the dragon stories her father read to her, but real and terrifying. The creature's eyes glowed amber in the darkness. They focused on Lily with an intelligence that made her stomach twist. This was not just an animal. This was something that thought and understood. Lily backed against the door. The wraith took 1 step forward, then another. Its claws made clicking sounds on the metal floor. She could see scars across its body, hundreds of them, burns and cuts and marks from chains. Some of the scars looked very old. Others looked recent. The creature opened its mouth. Rows of teeth, each as long as her hand. Heat radiated from its throat like standing near an oven. Lily could smell sulfur and ash. This was how she would die. Far from home, far from her parents, fed to a monster by cruel aliens who thought humans were nothing. But then something her father once said came back to her. Lily, when you're most afraid, that's when you need to look closely. Fear makes us miss important things. Lily forced herself to look at the wraith's eyes instead of its teeth. She looked past the amber glow and the predator focus. What she saw made her breath catch. The creature was not looking at her with hunger. It was looking at her with something else. Something that made Lily think of the old dog they had back on Earth, the one that lived in the shelter because no one wanted him, the one that flinched when people raised their hands. "You're scared too," Lily whispered. The wraith stopped moving. Its head tilted slightly like it was trying to understand. Lily's legs were shaking so hard she thought they might give out. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she slowly sat down on the floor right there 15 feet from a creature that had killed hundreds of beings. "I'm Lily," she said quietly. "I'm from Earth. They took me from my family." The wraith watched her. Steam rose from its nostrils. "You must be lonely," Lily continued. Her voice cracked. "Kept in here all alone. Made to hurt people. I bet you didn't want to do any of it." The creature took another step closer. Lily wanted to scream. She wanted to run, but there was nowhere to go. And something in those ancient eyes told her that running would not help anyway. So instead, she did something that made no sense. Something that went against every survival instinct. She slowly extended her hand, palm up, fingers trembling. "I'm scared," she admitted. "I'm so scared. But I won't hurt you. And maybe you don't want to hurt me either." For a long moment, nothing happened. The wraith stared at her hand like it was something from another world. Then slowly, the creature lowered its massive head. Its scales felt warm under Lily's fingers, smoother than she expected. She could feel the creature's heartbeat through its skin, strong and steady. A sound rumbled through the chamber, deep and resonating. Not a growl, something gentler, almost like the purr of a giant cat. Above them, in the viewing gallery, alarms began to sound. Captain Drov's voice exploded over the speakers, shouting in the Craven language. But Lily barely heard it. She was focused on the creature in front of her, the one that had chosen not to kill, the one that had been waiting 80 years for someone to see it as more than a monster. "I'll call you Ashkor," Lily whispered. She did not know why. The name just felt right. It means Heart of Ash in a game I used to play. Something that burns but never dies. The creature's eyes closed briefly as if accepting the name. When they opened again, something had changed. The amber glow seemed softer. Less predator, more person. Then gas began hissing into the chamber from vents in the ceiling. 12 hours had passed since the gas knocked them unconscious. Lily woke in a white room that smelled like chemicals and fear. Her head hurt. Her mouth tasted like metal. She tried to sit up and found thick straps holding her arms and legs down against a cold table. Panic flared in her chest until she heard the breathing. Ashkor lay in a massive cage 10 feet away. The dragon creature was awake but barely moving. More straps and chains covered its body. A metal collar around its neck blinked with red lights. Lily could see the creature's chest rising and falling too fast like it was in pain. "You're awake," a voice said. A thin alien with gray-blue skin stepped into view. He wore a white coat covered in pockets and carried a data pad. "I am Dr. Vesh. I am this ship's medical officer." "You should not be alive. Let me go," Lily said. Her voice came out weak and scratchy. "I cannot." Vesh looked at his data pad, then at her, then at Ashkor. "Captain Drove ordered me to dissect both of you. He wants to understand what contamination occurred, how a human spawn corrupted his execution beast." "Ashkor isn't a beast," Lily said, "and nothing corrupted anybody. We just talked." Vesh made a sound that might have been a laugh. "The Wraith do not talk, they kill. They have killed for 80 years without hesitation. Yesterday, this creature refused a direct order. It experienced neural shock punishment rather than harm you. In my 40 years as a physician, I have never seen anything like it." He moved closer to Lily's table and lowered his voice. "I ran every scan available on this ship. Your biology did something unprecedented. Your brain released chemicals that affected the Wraith neurologically. Your species has something we call pack bonding. You form emotional connections with other beings, even other species. But this goes beyond anything in our database." "I don't understand," Lily whispered. "Your DNA activated dormant markers when you were in extreme stress. You bonded with that creature in 30 minutes more deeply than most beings bond in years, and the wraith bonded back. Its brain chemistry changed, permanently. Vesh looked back at Ashkor. This terrifies the captain. It should terrify the entire Craven Empire. Do you know what humans could do if this is not unique to you? If all humans can bond with creatures we consider weapons? Lily tried to process his words. Her head still hurt from the gas. Are you going to cut us open? That was my order. Vesh set down his datapad. But I am a scientist before I am Craven. What happened in that chamber represents a biological phenomenon that could change everything we understand about species interaction. Dissecting you would destroy the evidence. Keeping you alive to study would be far more valuable. So we're still prisoners, Lily said. Yes, but living prisoners. Vesh moved to a panel on the wall and pressed several buttons. The straps holding Lily released with a hiss. I have approximately 6 hours before Drav expects my dissection report. I am going to use that time to run more tests, non-invasive ones. If you cooperate, I might find a way to keep both of you alive longer. Lily sat up slowly. Her whole body ached. Can I see him? Ashkor? The wraith has a name now. Vesh tilted his head. Fascinating. Yes, you may approach, but understand that I have guards outside this door. Any aggressive action and they will flood this room with lethal gas. Both of you will die. Lily slid off the table. Her legs felt weak, but she walked to Ashkor's cage. The dragon creature's eyes tracked her movement. She saw intelligence there and something else. Recognition. Relief. Hey, she said softly. Are you okay? Ashkor made a low sound in its throat. Not threatening. Almost like a whimper. The collar around its neck blinked faster and the creature flinched. That collar delivers pain when the wraith disobeys commands, Vesh explained. It has worn one for 80 years. The scars on its body tell the story of its training. The Craven capture wraith juveniles and break them through punishment until they become weapons. This one was taken when it was approximately your age in its species development. Lily felt tears burning in her eyes. That's horrible. Yes, Vesh agreed quietly. It is, but it is profitable. Wraith are the most feared predators in this sector. One wraith on a slave ship prevents rebellion. It eliminates problems. It makes Captain Drav very wealthy. Can you open the cage? Lily asked. Absolutely not. That would be... Please. Lily turned to face him. You said you wanted to study what happened. You can't do that with Ashkor locked up and hurting. The connection won't work if he's in pain. Vesh stared at her for a long moment. Then he did something that surprised them both. He opened the cage. Ashkor stood slowly. The chains fell away as the locks released. The creature was even more massive when it was standing. Easily 12 feet tall at the shoulder. It could kill Vesh and Lily in seconds. The doctor knew it. His hand hovered over the emergency gas release button. But Ashkor simply walked to Lily and lowered its head until their faces were level. The creature's breath was hot and smelled like sulfur. Up close, Lily could see that its eyes were not just amber. They held flecks of gold and green, swirling like flames. She reached up and touched the scales on its snout. Ashkor's eyes closed. The creature leaned into her hand like a cat seeking affection. That deep rumbling sound filled the room again. Remarkable, Vesh whispered. He was recording everything on his datapad. The wraith is exhibiting behavior associated with domesticated animals. But wraith cannot be domesticated. They are apex predators with intelligence comparable to sentient species. The only reason they are not classified as sentient is because they cannot communicate in ways we understand. Maybe we're not listening right, Lily said. She kept her hand on Ashkor's scales. She could feel something through that contact. Not words exactly. More like emotions. Feelings of loneliness and pain, but also hope. Something new. Something the creature had not felt in 8 decades. A sound echoed through the medical bay. Footsteps. Multiple sets of them moving fast. The guards, Vesh said. Someone must have seen the cage open on the monitors. The door burst open. 5 Craven guards rushed in with weapons raised. Behind them came a younger guard Lily recognized. Bren. He looked shocked to see Ashkor standing free next to the human child. Step away from the wraith, the lead guard ordered. Doctor, what have you done? Research, Vesh said calmly. The captain wanted to understand the bonding phenomenon. I am understanding it. The captain wants them both dead, another guard said. He is coming here now. You have violated direct orders. Ashkor moved in front of Lily. The creature did not roar or bare its teeth. It simply positioned itself between her and the weapons. A shield. Fascinating, Vesh said again. The protective instinct is silence, the lead guard interrupted. I am authorized to use lethal force. Then use it, a new voice said from the doorway. Captain Drav entered the medical bay. His yellow eyes swept across the scene and settled on Lily. The spawn has corrupted not only my weapon, but now my medical officer. This ends now. Drav pulled a weapon from his belt. It was larger than the guards' guns and hummed with energy. Step aside, Doctor. I will kill them both and space the bodies. No one will ever know this happened. Captain, the scientific value, Vesh began, means nothing compared to maintaining control. Drav finished. If the Craven Empire learns that humans can turn Wraith into pets, do you know what happens? Every slave ship, every arena, every execution chamber becomes vulnerable. Our entire economy is built on fear. This creature is fear, was fear. Now it is useless. He raised his weapon and aimed at Ashkor. Move away from the spawn or I shoot through you to reach it. Lily felt Ashkor tense. The creature knew what was about to happen. But it did not move. It stayed between her and the gun. Ashkor, no, Lily whispered. You don't have to protect me. But the dragon creature did not budge. And in that moment, Lily understood something. This was not just about bonding or chemicals or pack behavior. This was choice. Ashkor was choosing to be more than what the Craven had made it. Choosing to protect instead of kill. Choosing connection over survival. Drav's finger moved toward the trigger, then Bren stepped forward. The young guard moved between his captain and the Wrath. Sir, I cannot allow this. You cannot allow? Drav's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. You are refusing an order. Yes, sir. Bren's voice shook, but he did not move. I joined the Craven military to protect our people. Not to murder children. Not to execute creatures for the crime of showing mercy. Then you will die with them, Drav said. He adjusted his aim to include Bren. The other guards looked at each other. None of them raised their weapons to support their captain. One of them, an older female, slowly lowered her gun. Captain, she said carefully, perhaps we should consider the implications before taking irreversible action. If the doctor is correct about the scientific value, there is no value. Drav shouted. Only contamination. Only weakness. He fired, but Ashkor was faster. The creature's tail whipped out and struck the weapon from Drav's hand. The energy blast hit the ceiling, showering them all with sparks and melted metal. Drav stumbled back, shocked. For the first time, Lily saw fear in his eyes. Ashkor could have killed him then. The creature was close enough. Fast enough. Angry enough after 80 years of torture and abuse. But it did not attack. It simply stood there, protecting Lily and Bren and even Dr. Vesh. See? Lily said to Drav. He's not a weapon anymore. You can't make him one again. Drav stared at the wraith with hatred and fear mixed together. Then he touched a comm device on his wrist. All security personnel to medical bay. Initiate containment protocol 7. Prepare to vent the entire section to space. Captain, no, Vesh protested. That will kill everyone in this section. 50 crew members, 20 patients. Then they die, Drav said coldly, along with this abomination and the spawn that created it. Alarms began wailing throughout the ship. The alarm sounded like a dying animal, rising and falling through the corridors of the slave ship. Lily covered her ears, but it barely helped. Red lights flashed on every wall. Dr. Vesh grabbed her shoulder and pulled her toward the door. We have 3 minutes before the medical section seals and vents to space, he shouted over the noise. We need to reach the cargo bays. They are too valuable to vent. We can hide there. What about the other children? Lily yelled back. What about Dr. Cole and Tim and everyone else? If they are not in the medical section, they will survive, Vesh said. He looked at Ashkor. The Wraith cannot fit through standard corridors. He must use the cargo routes. Bren stepped forward. I know the way. Follow me. They ran through the medical bay as other crew members scrambled to evacuate. A few aliens stopped and stared at the sight of a small human child running alongside a massive dragon creature. But no one tried to stop them. They were too busy trying to save themselves. Captain Drav's voice boomed over the ship's communication system. All personnel, this is your captain. A contaminated wraith is loose in the medical section. The creature has been corrupted by human influence and is extremely dangerous. I have initiated venting protocols to protect the crew. This is not a drill. Seal all interior bulkheads immediately. He is lying to the crew, Vesh said as they turned down a wider corridor. making it sound like we are the threat. We are a threat, Lily said. To him. To his control. Ashcore moved surprisingly fast for such a large creature. Its claws clicked on the metal floor as it ran beside Lily, sometimes ahead to check corners, always staying close. The creature's collar still blinked red, but Ashcore seemed to ignore the pain it must be causing. They reached a massive cargo door just as the countdown reached 1 minute. Bren pressed his hand against a security panel. The door began to open, but slowly. Too slowly. Faster, Vesh urged. We need to. Weapons fire erupted behind them. Lily turned and saw Captain Drav at the far end of the corridor with 6 heavily armed guards. They were shooting to kill. Ashcore roared. The sound was deafening in the enclosed space. The dragon creature spread its wings, blocking the corridor and shielding the others with its body. Energy blasts hit its scales and scattered in different directions. Some of the scales cracked, but the creature did not fall. Ashcore, Lily screamed. The cargo door finally opened wide enough for them to slip through. Bren grabbed Lily and pulled her inside. Vesh followed. Ashcore backed through last, still facing the attacking guards. More weapons fire hit the creature's wings and legs. Lily could see burns forming on the dark scales. The door sealed shut. Bren worked on the panel from inside, his fingers moving fast over the controls. I am locking it down. It will buy us maybe 5 minutes before they override it. They were in a massive cargo hold filled with crates and containers stacked 3 stories high. Dim lights cast long shadows everywhere. The air smelled like oil and something else. Something alive. Where are we? Lily asked. Cargo Bay 7, Vesh said. He was breathing hard. This is where the ship stores high-value captives before reaching the slave markets. Which means a sound interrupted him, a deep rumbling call that came from somewhere in the darkness between the crates. Then another call answered it. And another. And one more. Lily felt Ashcore tense beside her. The dragon creature made a sound she had not heard before. Not aggressive, more like surprise, like recognition. Oh no, Vesh whispered. I forgot. This ship carries 4 Wraith, not 1. The other 3 are stored here for the markets. They are younger than Ashcore, captured only 20 years ago, less trained. More dangerous, more free, Lily said quietly. They haven't been broken as completely. 3 shapes emerged from the shadows. They were smaller than Ashcore, but still massive, each one bigger than an earth elephant. Their scales varied in color. One was deep red with black markings. Another was silver gray with blue highlights. The third was dark green with golden eyes. All 3 wore the same blinking collars. All 3 bore the scars of captivity and training. They saw Ashcore and stopped. For a long moment, none of them moved. Then the red one tilted its head and made a questioning sound. Ashcore answered with a low rumble. They are communicating, Vesh said with wonder. I did not know Wraith had a language. We always assumed they were too primitive. You assumed wrong about a lot of things, Lily said. She took a step toward the 3 newcomers. Bren grabbed her arm. Do not, he warned. These ones are not bonded like Ashcore. They will kill you. Maybe, Lily said. Or maybe they are just waiting for someone to give them a chance. She pulled free and walked slowly toward the red Wraith. Her heart hammered in her chest. Her hands shook. But she thought about how Ashcore had chosen not to kill her. How the creature had protected her. If it worked once, maybe it could work again. Hey, she said softly to the red dragon. I'm Lily, I know you are scared. I know you have been hurt. But I'm not going to hurt you. And you don't have to hurt me either. The red Wraith lowered its head until its eyes were level with hers. Unlike Ashcore's amber eyes, these were pure crimson. They studied her with the same intelligence, the same depth. Lily could see pain there, anger, but also curiosity. She reached out her hand just like she had done with Ashcore. Her fingers trembled as they touched the warm scales on the creature's snout. The red Wraith did not move. Then slowly it closed its eyes and leaned into her touch. Impossible, Vesh breathed. It should not work twice. The odds of... But the silver-gray Wraith was already moving toward Lily, and the green one followed. Within minutes, all 3 creatures surrounded her, their massive heads lowered, seeking contact. Seeking the same thing Ashcore had found. Connection, understanding, someone who saw them as more than weapons. I'll give you names, Lily said, touching each one in turn. Your Hope, she told the red one. Your Storm, to the silver-gray. And your Ember, to the green one with golden eyes. Ashcore moved to stand with the other 3. Together, the 4 Wraith formed a circle around Lily. She stood in the center, her hands touching all of them, and felt something flowing through that contact. Not just emotions now, something deeper, like a current of energy connecting them all. The electromagnetic fields, Vesh said, scanning with his datapad. Wraith communicate through low-level electromagnetic pulses. The child's neural activity is syncing with them. She is becoming a focal point for their group consciousness. This is beyond bonding. This is an explosion rocked the cargo bay. One of the side doors blew inward in a shower of sparks and metal. Captain Drav strode through with 20 armed guards. They carried heavy weapons, the kind meant to bring down armored vehicles. End of the line, Drav said. His voice was cold and flat. I will kill all 4 Wraith in the spawn. The financial loss is acceptable compared to letting this spread. Captain, please. Bren stepped forward. Think about what you are doing. These creatures are not just weapons. They are cargo, Drav interrupted. Valuable cargo that has been contaminated. Nothing more. He raised his weapon. All units fire on my mark. Kill the Wraith first. The spawn second. Anyone who interferes dies with them. The guards raised their weapons. 20 guns pointed at the 4 dragons and the small human girl standing among them. Lily looked at Ashkor. She did not know how she knew what to do next. It just felt right, like an instinct she did not know she had. Together, she whispered. The 4 Wraith roared as one, but this was not a roar of aggression. It was something else. A call, a signal, and with it came a pulse of electromagnetic energy that swept through the cargo bay like a wave. Every light in the bay flickered. The guards' weapons sparked and died. Their armor systems failed. Even Drav's personal shield generator shut down. Only the emergency lights remained, casting everything in dim red illumination. What did you do? Drav demanded. His voice had lost its confidence. They are not just predators, Vesh said quietly. Wraith are naturally electromagnetic. They use it to navigate, communicate, even hunt. But we suppressed that ability with the collars and training. We made them into simple killing machines. The child is helping them remember what they really are. The 4 Wraith spread their wings. In the dim light, Lily could see patterns glowing on the wing membranes. Patterns that looked like circuits. Like technology? Like something far more advanced than anyone had realized. Hope, the red Wraith, touched its head to one of the cargo containers. Electricity arced between them. The container's lock disengaged and the door swung open. Inside were more aliens, prisoners waiting to be sold. They stumbled out, confused and frightened. Storm did the same to another container, then Ember to another. Within minutes, 30 prisoners of various species stood in the cargo bay, all staring at the impossible sight before them, a human child with 4 dragon creatures freeing captives instead of killing them. Stop them! Drav screamed. But his guards' weapons were dead. They looked at each other uncertainly. An older woman in torn clothing stepped forward from the freed prisoners. She was human, with gray hair and tired eyes. Lily, she said in disbelief. Lily Chen? Dr. Cole. Lily felt tears of relief. You're okay. What is happening? Dr. Cole asked. How are you? She saw the 4 Wraith and stopped. Her scientist mind tried to process what she was seeing. This is impossible. It's very possible, Lily said. Dr. Cole, they are not monsters. They are just lonely and scared and tired of being hurt, like us. More containers opened. More prisoners emerged. 40, 50, 60. The cargo bay filled with freed captives, all watching the confrontation between Captain Drav and the 4 Wraith. A young boy ran forward and threw his arms around Lily. Tim, the 5-year-old who had been taken to the engine rooms. He was dirty and exhausted but alive. You saved us, Tim said. The dragon saved us. We saved each other, Lily corrected gently. Drav backed toward the exit. His face showed something Lily had not seen before. True fear. This is not over. I will call the Kraven military fleet. They will destroy this entire ship before letting this spread. Then you will die too, Bren said. He stood with the freed prisoners now, his weapon aimed at his former captain. I will not let you call anyone. Other guards lowered their weapons. They looked at the 4 Wraith standing peacefully beside freed captives. They looked at children playing near creatures that could kill them instantly. And they could not make those images match what they had been told about humans and Wraith. Drav ran. He made it 3 steps before Ashkor's tail whipped out and grabbed him, not violently. Almost gently. The creature lifted the captain off the floor and held him there, dangling and helpless. Put me down, Drav demanded. Not yet, Lily said. She walked over to look up at him. First, you are going to help us free everyone on this ship. Every prisoner. Every slave. And then you are going to tell us where the other Wraith are. All of them. Every prison and arena in the Kraven Empire. Never, Drav snarled. Lily nodded to Ashkor. The creature carried Drav over to where the other 3 Wraith waited. 4 sets of eyes studied the captain with unmistakable intelligence. 4 creatures that remembered 80 years, 60 years, 20 years of torture and pain at Kraven hands. Drav's confidence finally broke. What do you want? I told you, Lily said. Everyone goes free. Starting now. The ship's control room had never seen anything like this before. 4 massive dragon creatures stood between the navigation consoles, their scales reflecting the glow of 100 screens and displays. Lily sat in the captain's chair with her feet dangling above the floor. Dr. Cole stood beside her, trying to understand the data that Dr. Vesh was showing on his pad. Bren worked at the security station, releasing locks on every cell and holding area throughout the ship. Captain Drav sat on the floor in the corner, his hands bound with his own restraints. He glared at everyone but said nothing. The dozen guards who remained loyal to him were locked in the brig. The rest of the crew had agreed to help, either because they were frightened of the Wraith or because they were tired of serving a cruel captain. Maybe both. 217 prisoners freed, Bren reported. All holding cells are open. We have humans, Talvari, insectoid Hexians, 3 species I don't even recognize. They are gathering in the main cargo bays. Many are injured. All are scared. Can we feed them? Lily asked. The ship has enough supplies for another month, Vesh said. Captain Drav always kept extra in case of emergencies. We can feed everyone. Dr. Cole was still studying the data on Vesh's pad. I still cannot believe this. According to these scans, the Wraith are not just animals. They have technology integrated into their biology. These electromagnetic abilities they use to disable the weapons, that's not natural evolution. That's engineered. Someone designed them this way. Not designed, Vesh corrected. The Wraith did this themselves thousands of years ago. According to Kraven historical records that most citizens never see, the Wraith were once a spacefaring civilization. They modified their own bodies to interface with their ships directly. They became living pilots, living computers. They explored the galaxy long before most current species developed space travel. Then what happened? Tim asked. The 5-year-old sat on the floor next to Ember, the green Wraith. His small hand rested on the creature's foreleg. Ember's golden eyes watched him with gentle attention. The Kraven Empire happened, Drav said bitterly from his corner. 400 years ago, we encountered the Wraith on their homeworld. We saw their power and wanted it. We hunted them, captured them, killed most of them, enslaved the rest. We bred them in captivity and trained them to be weapons. We made everyone forget they were ever more than predators. You committed genocide, Dr. Cole said coldly, and you turned the survivors into slaves. We built an empire, Drav shot back. The Wraith were dangerous. They had to be controlled. They were people, Lily said quietly. All 4 Wraith turned to look at her. They had families, homes, culture, and you destroyed it all because you were afraid of them. Ashkor made a low sound in its throat. The creature moved to stand beside Lily's chair. One massive claw rested gently on the armrest near her hand. She touched it and felt that now familiar current of emotion flowing between them. Grief for what was lost, anger at the injustice, but also something new, hope for what might come next. The question is what we do now, Bren said. We are still in Kraven space. The military fleet will find us eventually. When they discover what happened here, they will destroy this ship to hide the evidence. They cannot allow word to spread that humans can free Wraith from their conditioning. Then we need to free more before they stop us, Lily said. She looked at Ashkor. You know where your people are kept, right? All of them? The dragon creature's eyes closed briefly. Then Ashkor moved to one of the navigation consoles. Its claw touched the screen with surprising delicacy. The display changed, showing a star map of Kraven space. Dozens of locations lit up in red. Prison colonies, Vesh translated reading the data. Military black sites. Private arenas. This one is a breeding facility. His voice grew quiet. 89 locations. They are keeping Wraith at 89 different places throughout the Empire. Then that is where we go, Lily said. Dr. Cole put her hand on Lily's shoulder. Lily, I understand what you want to do, but this is too dangerous. We need to get you and the other children to safety. We should contact Earth, get help from the military. By the time Earth sends help, the Kraven will have moved or killed every wraith they have. Lily interrupted. We have to do this now, and we need the children to do it. Everyone in the control room turned to stare at her. What do you mean? Dr. Cole asked carefully. The wraith respond to me and Tim because we are children, Lily explained. We are not afraid the way adults are. We don't see them as weapons or monsters. We just see them as beings who need help. That is what breaks through their conditioning. Adult humans might work eventually, but we don't have time for eventually. You cannot seriously be suggesting we use children as diplomatic tools, Dr. Cole said. Her voice rose with each word. These are kids, Lily. 7-year-olds and 5-year-olds and toddlers. We should be protecting them, not putting them in more danger. We are already in danger, a new voice said. A girl around 10 years old stepped forward from the doorway. Lily recognized her from the holding cells. Her name was Ruth. We have been in danger since the moment the Kraven attacked our colony ship. At least this way we can do something about it. We can help. Other children appeared behind Ruth. 15 of them, ranging from age 4 to 12. They had been listening from the corridor. The grown-ups tried to protect us by being quiet and cooperative, a boy named Peter said. He was 8. It did not work. The Kraven still hurt us, still separated us from our families. Maybe it's time to try something different. Dr. Cole looked at the children, then at Lily, then at the 4 wraith standing peacefully in the control room. This is insane, she whispered. It's necessary, Lily said. Dr. Cole, you are a scientist. You saw Dr. Vesh's data. The bond between humans and wraith is real. It's powerful. And right now, it's the only advantage we have. We can save them. All of them. But only if we try. Silence filled the control room. Even Drav stopped glaring to watch what Dr. Cole would decide. Finally, she nodded slowly. If we do this, we do it safely. No child goes anywhere without adult protection. We plan each rescue carefully, and if anything goes wrong, we evacuate immediately. Agreed? Agreed, Lily said. Bren stepped forward. I will coordinate with other crew members who want to help. We have weapons, armor, and transport shuttles. I can organize teams to protect the children during each rescue operation. I will handle medical support, Vesh added, and I will document everything. When this is over, the galaxy needs to see proof of what the Kraven Empire has done to the Wraith. What about him? Ruth pointed at Drav. Lily looked at the former captain. We keep him locked up but safe. When this is over, he faces trial for what he has done. Real trial with real justice. Not revenge. Drav laughed bitterly. You think the Kraven Empire will let any of you live long enough for trials? You have made enemies of the most powerful civilization in this sector. They will hunt you across the galaxy. Let them try, Lily said. She slid out of the captain's chair and walked to stand in front of the 4 wraith. They lowered their heads to her level, and she touched each one in turn. We have something they don't. We have each other. And that makes us stronger than they can imagine. Storm, the silver-gray wraith, made a sound that was almost like laughter. The creature moved to the navigation console and began entering coordinates with its claw. The other 3 wraith joined in, working together to plot a course to the first rescue location. They are planning the mission themselves, Vesh said with wonder, using their knowledge of Kraven facilities and their own electromagnetic abilities to calculate the fastest route. They have been planning this for decades. They just needed someone to help them start. The first coordinates locked in. A small prison facility on the 3rd moon of a system called Halvex. According to the data, it held 12 wraith and 300 other prisoners. That one, Ashkor indicated by tapping the screen. The dragon looked at Lily with those intelligent amber eyes, and something passed between them. A question. A request for permission. Yes, Lily said. We start there. The ship's engines powered up. Freed prisoners throughout the cargo base felt the vibration and knew they were moving. Some were frightened. Others were hopeful. All of them understood that something unprecedented was happening. In the control room, 15 human children gathered around 4 dragon creatures and began planning the impossible. They would free the wraith, all of them. Every prison, every arena, every cage. And they would do it together. Dr. Cole watched her species' children working alongside beings that the galaxy feared, and she thought about evolution. Not just biological evolution, but social evolution. The ability to see past appearances and fear to find connection and understanding. Maybe that was humanity's real strength. Not weapons or technology or military might, but the simple, powerful ability to make friends with the friendless, to offer hope to the hopeless. "Doctor," Vesh said quietly beside her, "what your species is doing here, it will change everything. The balance of power in the galaxy. The way species interact with each other, the very definition of what it means to be civilized." "I know," Dr. Cole said. "That's what terrifies me." "It should," Vesh agreed. "But it should also give you hope. Change is frightening, but stagnation is death. The galaxy has been stagnant for a long time. Maybe it's time for something new." The ship jumped to faster-than-light travel. In the viewing screen, stars stretched into lines as they accelerated toward their first target, toward the first group of Wraith that would learn they were not alone anymore, that someone was coming to free them. In her corner, Ruth watched Lily standing among the 4 dragons and smiled. "We're really doing this," she whispered to Peter. "We're really doing this," he confirmed. Tim, sitting beside Ember, looked up at the massive green Wraith. "Are you scared?" he asked. The creature lowered its head until they were eye to eye. Then Ember did something remarkable. The dragon smiled. Not a human smile, but something close enough. A slight curve to the mouth that said, "Yes, I am scared, but I'm also ready." "Me too," Tim said. He took the creature's claw in his small hand. "Me too." The ship raced through the darkness between stars, carrying the most unlikely crew in the galaxy. 4 ancient dragons who remembered when they were free, 15 human children who refused to accept that monsters were real, and a growing number of adults who were learning that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is follow a child's lead. Behind them, in Craven space, alarms were starting to sound. Military commanders were receiving reports of a stolen slave ship, of freed prisoners, of Wraith no longer under control. The Empire was waking up to a threat it never anticipated. But by the time they truly understood what was happening, it would already be too late. The rescue had begun, and nothing would ever be the same. 6 weeks had passed since they freed the first prison. Lily stood in the cargo bay of what everyone now called the Liberation, watching as 20 newly freed Wraith adjusted to their first hours of freedom. Some paced nervously, others huddled together, seeking comfort from their own kind for the first time in decades. All of them wore the scars of captivity. The Liberation was no longer just one ship. It was a fleet. After the 3rd successful rescue, 3 Craven vessels had defected to join them, their crews refusing orders to attack children. After the 7th rescue, a merchant convoy had offered supplies and protection. After the 12th, an entire colony of peaceful aliens called the Welkin had opened their space stations as safe havens for freed prisoners. Now, 18 rescue operations later, they had 43 Wraith traveling with them. 43 dragons who were remembering what it meant to be free, who were teaching the newcomers that humans were friends, not captors, that children were to be protected, not feared. Lily was still 7 years old, but she felt older. She had seen things no child should see. Scars and torture devices, beings who had forgotten how to hope. She had also seen miracles. Wraith who had not spoken in 50 years finding their voices again. Prisoners from a dozen species working together as crew members. And most importantly, she had seen fear turn into trust over and over again. "Lily," Dr. Cole called from across the cargo bay. "We need you in the control room." Admiral Wright's ship just arrived. Lily's heart jumped. Admiral Wright commanded the Earth Defense Force fleet that had been searching for their missing colony ship. After 6 weeks, Earth had finally found them. She did not know if this was good news or bad. She climbed the ladder to the upper decks with Ashkor following behind. The dragon moved through the ship as easily as any crew member now, everyone stepping aside to let the massive creature pass. Tim rode on Hope's back, laughing as the red dragon carefully navigated the corridors. Other children played throughout the ship with other Wraith, the sight so common now that no one even noticed anymore. The control room was crowded. Dr. Cole, Dr. Vesh, Bren, and a dozen other key crew members stood around the main display screen. On it, a stern-looking human woman in a military uniform stared at them with barely contained shock. "I am Admiral Patricia Wright of the Earth Defense Force," she said slowly, her eyes moving across the room and stopping on the 4 Wraith standing calmly behind the human crew. "We have been searching for Colony Ship 7 for 6 weeks. We tracked your signature to this location and found you traveling with a fleet of alien vessels. Someone please explain what is happening here." Captain Ross stepped forward. He had been the commander of Colony Ship 7 before the attack. A Craven energy blast had nearly killed him, but Dr. Vesh had saved his life. Now he served as the official leader of their rescue operation. "Admiral, what is happening here is complicated," Ross said. "The short version is that we were attacked by Craven slavers. They captured our people and planned to sell us. One of the captives, a 7-year-old named Lily Chen, made first contact with an enslaved species called the Wraith. This contact changed everything. I can see Wraith in your control room," Admiral Wright said. Her hand moved toward something off-screen, probably a weapon. "Those creatures are classified as extreme threats. Every military database lists them as uncontrollable predators." "Why are they not attacking you?" "Because the databases are wrong," Lily said, stepping into view of the screen. "The Wraith are not predators. They are people. The Craven Empire has been lying about them for 400 years. Admiral Wright stared at Lily. "You are 7 years old." "Yes, ma'am. And you are telling me that you made friends with the most dangerous species in known space?" "Yes, ma'am." The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. "I need to see this for myself. I am coming aboard your vessel with a security team." "If this is some kind of trap—" "It's not," Ross interrupted. "Admiral, you need to understand what these children have accomplished. They have freed over 500 prisoners from Craven facilities. They have rescued 43 Wraith from slavery. They have started something that is changing the entire balance of power in this sector, and they did it with compassion and courage, not weapons. Nonetheless, I am coming aboard," Wright said. "Prepare to receive my shuttle." The screen went dark. Dr. Cole immediately grabbed Lily's shoulders. "Are you ready for this? The Admiral is going to have a lot of questions." "I'll answer them," Lily said. "We have nothing to hide." 30 minutes later, Admiral Wright walked into the cargo bay with 10 heavily armed Marines behind her. She stopped immediately when she saw the scene before her. 20 Wraith of various sizes and colors were scattered throughout the bay. Human children played among them. Tim was teaching Ember a hand-clapping game, the dragon carefully tapping its claws against the boy's small palms in rhythm. Ruth sat against Storm's side, reading a book out loud while the silver-gray dragon listened with apparent interest. Other children were giving treats to newly rescued Wraith, coaxing them out of their frightened huddles. "This is impossible," one of the Marines whispered. "Impossible happens a lot lately," Lily said. She walked up to Admiral Wright without fear. "Would you like to meet them? The Wraith, I mean." Wright looked down at the small girl, then at the dragons, then back at the girl. "Yes," she said finally. "Yes, I would." Lily led her to Ashkor. The massive black dragon lowered its head to study the Admiral with amber eyes. Wright stood very still, her military training warring with the evidence before her eyes. "This is Ashkor," Lily said. "He was the first. The Craven kept him as an execution beast for 80 years. They tortured him, starved him, punished him every time he showed mercy. They broke almost everything about him except one thing." She touched Ashkor's scales gently. "They could not break his hope that someday someone would see him as more than a monster." Ashkor made a low sound, not threatening, almost like greeting. The dragon extended one claw very slowly toward Admiral Wright, palm up, copying the gesture Lily had taught him. "An offering of peace." Wright looked at Lily. "What happens if I touch him?" "You will feel what I feel," Lily said. "Connection, understanding. You will know that he is not our enemy." The Admiral reached out and placed her hand on Ashkor's claw. Her eyes widened. For a moment she did not move. Then she took a shaky breath. "I can feel it," she whispered. "Emotions. Not human emotions, but close enough to understand. He is lonely. He is grateful. He is—" She looked at Lily in wonder. "He loves you. This creature loves you like family." "We are family," Lily said simply. "All of us. The Wraith, the humans, everyone who has joined our crew. That is what the Craven could not understand. That is what makes us strong." Admiral Wright pulled her hand back slowly. She turned to face her Marines and the control room crew watching from the doorway. "I need to report this to Earth Command immediately. What is happening here is beyond first contact protocols. This is a complete paradigm shift in how we understand alien species interaction." "What will Earth do?" Dr. Cole asked nervously. "I honestly do not know," Wright admitted. "But I know what I'm going to recommend. That Earth supports what you are doing here, that we send ships and resources to help free the rest of the Wraith. That we form an official alliance with them before anyone else tries to weaponize what you have discovered." "The Craven military is already hunting us," Brent said. "They have put massive bounties on this ship and everyone aboard. They are calling us terrorists and criminals. The Kraven Empire is falling apart, Wright said. Our intelligence shows massive internal conflicts. Young officers refusing orders. Colonies declaring independence. The revelation that humans can free Wraith is causing chaos throughout their territory. They are terrified of what comes next. What does come next? Lily asked. Wright smiled slightly. That depends on you, I think. You started this. What do you want to happen? Lily thought about it. She thought about Ashkor and the 80 years of pain he had endured, about Hope and Storm and Ember learning to trust again, about all the Wraith still in cages, still being hurt, still waiting for someone to care. I want to finish what we started, she said. I want to free them all. Every single one. And then I want to find their homeworld. Dr. Vesh says the Kraven have the location in classified files. The Wraith have not seen their home in 400 years. I think it is time they went back. That is a very ambitious goal for a 7-year-old, Wright said. Maybe, Lily agreed. But I have help. As if responding to her words, all 43 Wraith throughout the ship called out in unison. The sound echoed through the corridors, a harmony of different voices that somehow blended into one. It was not aggressive. It was not frightening. It was beautiful. A song of hope and determination that made every being who heard it stop and listen. Admiral Wright felt tears in her eyes. I will help you, she said. Earth will help you. I will make sure of it. Over the next 3 weeks, everything changed faster than anyone expected. Admiral Wright kept her promise. Earth sent a fleet of 20 ships to support the rescue operations. Other species, inspired by what they saw, began offering help. The Welkin provided medical supplies. A warrior race called the Thorn sent soldiers to protect the children during rescues. Even some Kraven colonies secretly sent food and intelligence about prison locations. The rescues became faster and more efficient. With proper military support, they freed 3 facilities in a single week, then 5 the next week. The number of Wraith traveling with them grew to 60, then 80, then 112. And with each rescue, the same pattern repeated. Children approached the caged Wraith with compassion. The dragons responded with trust instead of violence. The bond formed. Freedom followed. But the Kraven Empire was not giving up quietly. They assembled their largest military fleet in 200 years. 300 warships, all converging on the last known location of the Liberation and her allies. The supreme commander of the Kraven forces sent a message that reached every ship in the sector. The human terrorists and their Wraith slaves will be destroyed. This abomination ends now. Any species harboring them will be considered enemies of the Kraven Empire. This is your only warning. Admiral Wright gathered everyone in the main cargo bay for an emergency meeting. Hundreds of beings crowded together. Humans, Wraith, Welkin, Thorn, and a dozen other species who had joined their cause. Children sat with dragons. Adults stood with former enemies. All of them united by the same belief that freedom mattered. The Kraven fleet will reach us in 6 hours, Wright said grimly. We have 40 ships. They have 300. Our shields and weapons cannot match their firepower. If we fight, we will lose. Then we do not fight, Lily said. She stood on a crate so everyone could see her. We go to the Wraith homeworld instead. Silence filled the bay. Dr. Vesh was the first to speak. Lily, we do not know where it is. The Kraven wiped the location from all public records 400 years ago. But the Wraith remember, Lily said. She looked at Ashkor. Don't you? All of you. You remember home. The dragons looked at each other. Some of the oldest ones made soft sounds. Then Ashkor moved to a navigation display and began entering coordinates with his claw. Other Wraith joined him, their electromagnetic abilities interfacing with the ship's computers in ways that made even Dr. Vesh shake his head in amazement. A location appeared on the screen, deep in unexplored space, far from any known trade routes or colonies, a system with 7 planets orbiting a golden star. That is it, Ashkor communicated through the translation device they had built. His voice was rough from disuse but clear. That is Wraith Prime, our home, where our civilization began, where the last of our free people should still be waiting. Should be? Admiral Wright asked. You do not know if anyone is still there? We hope, Ashkor said simply. We have hoped for 400 years. Then let's find out, Lily said. The Kraven want to destroy us. Let them chase us to Wraith Prime. Let them see what happens when you back people into a corner and they have nowhere else to go. What do you think will happen? Dr. Cole asked. Lily smiled. It was not a child's smile anymore. It was something older, wiser, harder. I think we will discover that the Wraith were not the only ones enslaved. I think a lot of species in this galaxy are tired of the Craven Empire telling them what to do. And I think when they see us making a stand, they might just decide to stand with us. Admiral Wright studied the 7-year-old girl who had started a revolution without meaning to. You have changed, Lily. We all have, Lily said. She looked at the crowd of beings around her. Former prisoners, former enemies, now family. The Craven tried to make us weak by taking away our freedom. They did not realize that taking something away just makes you fight harder to get it back. The decision was made. All 40 ships prepared to jump to Wraith Prime. The children said goodbye to Admiral Wright and the Earth Fleet, who would stay behind to delay the Craven forces as long as possible. Wright hugged Lily tightly before leaving. Whatever happens, the Admiral said, you have already won. You proved that compassion is stronger than cruelty, that children can see truths that adults miss. That humanity's greatest weapon is not our technology or military. It is our ability to make friends out of enemies. I hope that is enough, Lily whispered. It will be, Wright promised. Trust yourself, trust your friends, and trust that the galaxy is ready for something better than what the Craven Empire offers. The ships jumped to faster-than-light travel, leaving the Craven fleet behind. They raced toward Wraith Prime, toward answers, toward whatever waited for them in unexplored space. And in the cargo bay, 112 Wraith sang together, their voices harmonizing in a song none of them had sung in 400 years. A song of going home. The golden star of the Wraith home system filled the viewing screens as 40 ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Lily pressed her face against the glass, searching for planets. There, 7 worlds, just as the coordinates had promised. But which one was Wraith Prime? Ashkor stood beside her, so tall that his head nearly touched the ceiling. The massive dragon was trembling, not from fear, from emotion so powerful it radiated through the electromagnetic field that now connected all the Wraith on the ship. 112 dragons, all feeling the same thing. After 4 centuries of exile, they were home. Third planet, Ashkor said through the translator device. His voice shook. Green and blue. Mountains that touched the clouds. Oceans deep enough to hide cities. That is our world. Dr. Vesh ran scans from his station. I am detecting life signs on the third planet. Thousands of them. No, tens of thousands. And energy signatures that match Wraith electromagnetic patterns but much stronger. There is a civilization down there. An active one. They survived, Hope whispered. The red dragon had not spoken much since being freed, but now her voice carried across the control room. Our people survived. Storm and Ember pressed close to Hope, the 3 younger Wraith seeking comfort from each other. Other dragons throughout the ship began making sounds that were half joy, half grief. So many had died, so many had suffered in slavery, but some had remained free. Some had kept the home fires burning. I am detecting something else, Bren said from the sensor station. His voice was urgent. Ships, a lot of them. Coming from the outer system. They are moving fast and their weapons are charging. The Free Wraith, Dr. Cole said. They must think we are Craven slavers. We need to send a message, Captain Ross said. Before they attack, let them know we come in peace. They will not believe words, Ashkor said. The Craven have sent false peace messages before, only to attack once they got close. Our free people learned long ago not to trust any ship that comes here. Then what do we do? Lily asked. Ashkor looked at her with those amber eyes that had seen so much pain and lately so much hope. You do what you have always done. You show them the truth. You show them that not all beings are enemies. How? Let me go to them, Ashkor said. Let all of us go. We will fly out to meet their ships in the vacuum of space. They will see that we are not prisoners. Not slaves. We are free, and we are coming home. You cannot survive in space without protection, Dr. Vesh protested. The Wraith biology is advanced but not designed for vacuum conditions. We can, Ashkor corrected. We could always survive in space for short periods. We used to travel between ships and stations without shuttles, using our electromagnetic fields as shields. The Craven made us forget, made us believe we were weaker than we really are. But we remember now. Lily looked at Dr. Cole. Can they do this? According to the biological data I have been collecting, maybe, Dr. Cole said slowly. The Wraith have redundant respiratory systems and can generate protective fields using their electromagnetic abilities. In theory, they could survive in vacuum for 10 to 15 minutes. But we have never tested it. Then we test it now, Ashkor said. He looked at the other Wraith in the control room, and then at those in the cargo bays throughout the ship. Through their electromagnetic connection, all of them heard his call. All of them understood what he was asking. Who flies with me? Every single Wraith responded. 112 voices raised as one. They would all go. Together. The cargo bay doors opened to the darkness of space. Lily stood on the observation deck with the other children, watching as dragons poured out of the ship in a stream of scales and wings and ancient power. They spread their wings and the membranes glowed with the patterns that Dr. Cole now knew were biological circuitry. Electromagnetic fields shimmered around each Wraith like shields made of light. They were beautiful. Terrible and beautiful and free. The Wraith formed a massive formation in space between the human ships and the approaching defenders. They did not attack. They did not threaten. They simply hovered there, a living wall of dragons who had survived slavery and torture and 400 years of near extinction. The approaching ships slowed. Lily could see them on the sensors now. Sleek vessels that looked grown rather than built, their hulls covered in the same circuitry patterns that marked the Wraith. Ships designed by dragons for dragons. They are scanning us, Bren reported. Focusing on the freed Wraith, they are trying to determine if this is real or some kind of Kraven trick. Then something unexpected happened. The cargo bay doors on one of the approaching ships opened and more Wraith emerged. But these were different, larger, their scales gleaming with colors Lily had never seen. Metallic golds and silvers, deep purples and blues, patterns that shifted like oil on water. These were Wraith who had never been captured, who had lived their entire lives free. The two groups of dragons faced each other across the vacuum. The freed slaves and the defenders of home. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the largest of the free Wraith, an ancient creature whose scales were pure white shot through with gold, moved forward. It approached Ashkor slowly. The two dragons circled each other, studying, analyzing. Lily held her breath. This could still go wrong. The free Wraith might reject the enslaved ones, seeing them as contaminated or broken. The white dragon stopped circling. It looked at Ashkor for a long moment. Then it touched its head to Ashkor's in a gesture that needed no translation. Welcome home. Ashkor made a sound that broke Lily's heart. A cry of joy and grief and relief all mixed together. Other freed Wraith rushed forward to meet their free cousins. The space between the ships filled with dragons embracing, touching, communicating in ways that instruments could not measure, but hearts could understand. On the observation deck, human children cheered. Tim jumped up and down, pointing at Ember surrounded by other green-scaled Wraith. Ruth cried happy tears for Storm, who was meeting what might be siblings. Dr. Cole put her arm around Lily's shoulders. You did this, she said softly. You gave them this. We did it together, Lily said. All of us. A message came through on the communication system. A voice speaking accented English. Human ships. We are the Council of Wraith Prime. The defenders have informed us of what you have done, of the freed prisoners you carry, of the human children who broke through centuries of conditioning with nothing but compassion. We invite you to land, to meet, to explain how this miracle happened, Captain Ross answered. We accept your invitation with gratitude, but you should know that the Kraven Empire fleet is pursuing us. 300 warships. They will arrive in this system within hours. We do not want to bring war to your world. There was a pause. Then the voice spoke again, and this time it carried something that made Lily smile. Determination, anger, and justice. Let them come. We have hidden from the Kraven for 400 years, rebuilding our strength, waiting for the day we could strike back. We have ships. We have weapons. And now, thanks to you, we have our enslaved people returned to us. The Kraven wanted to turn our children into weapons. Instead, your children turned them back into people. When the Empire fleet arrives, they will face not just freed slaves, but an entire civilization that remembers what was taken from us. Let them come. The ships landed on Wraith Prime's largest spaceport. When the cargo ramp lowered, Lily was the first one out, with Tim holding her hand. They stepped onto a world of towering trees and crystal mountains and skies, filled with dragons flying in patterns that looked like aerial dances. Thousands of Wraith waited to greet them. The freed prisoners walked down the ramps slowly, many crying as they touched soil their ancestors had been stolen from centuries ago. Family groups rushed forward to embrace the returnees. Even after 400 years, the Wraith recognized bloodlines through electromagnetic signatures that ran through family trees. The white and gold dragon who had greeted Ashkor in space waited at the base of the ramp. Up close, Lily could see this creature was ancient beyond measure. Scars covered its body, but these were battle scars, not torture marks. Scars earned in defense of home, not inflicted by cruel masters. "I am Elder Cress," the dragon said through natural speech that the translation devices picked up. "I lead the council that has protected our people since the great hunting began." "You are the human child called Lily?" "Yes, sir," Lily said. She felt very small before this massive being. "You freed my grandson," Elder Cress said softly. "Ashkor was taken when he was young, barely past his juvenile molt. We searched for him for years before giving up hope. You gave him back to us. You gave all of them back." The ancient dragon lowered his head until his eyes were level with Lily's. She saw tears there. Dragons could cry. "Thank you, small human. You have given our people something we thought lost forever. You have given us hope that the galaxy contains more than cruelty." Lily touched the elder's scales. She felt the same connection she felt with Ashkor, but deeper, older. This dragon carried the memories of an entire civilization in his mind. "I only did what anyone should do," Lily said. "I saw someone hurting and I wanted to help." "That is not as common as you think," Elder Cress said. "Most beings see suffering and turn away. They tell themselves it is not their problem. You are 7 years old and you chose to care. That is why you succeeded where others failed. The Wraith do not bond with strength or power. We bond with compassion." A younger Wraith approached. She was beautiful, with scales that shifted between blue and green like ocean water. "Elder, the Craven fleet has entered the system. They will reach us in 2 hours." "Then we have 2 hours to prepare," Elder Cress said. He raised his head and called out in a voice that echoed across the spaceport. Thousands of Wraith answered, their voices creating a harmony that shook the air. "What are they saying?" Dr. Cole asked Dr. Vesh. "It is a war song," Vesh translated, "but not a song of aggression. It is a song of defense, of protecting what matters, of standing together against those who would enslave and destroy. They are calling every Wraith on this planet to join the battle." "How many are there?" Captain Ross asked. "According to our scans, approximately 60,000, Vesh said quietly. 60,000 Wraith who have never been slaves, who have spent 400 years building weapons and ships and defenses. The Craven think they are hunting scattered refugees. They have no idea what is waiting for them." The next 2 hours passed in a blur. The freed Wraith were given medical treatment and food while the defenders prepared for battle. Human crews worked alongside Wraith engineers to coordinate their ships into a defensive formation. Children were taken to underground shelters carved into the crystal mountains. Lily refused to go to the shelters. She stood in the command center that the Wraith had carved into the side of a cliff face, watching displays that showed the approaching Craven fleet, 300 warships all bristling with weapons, all coming to destroy what she had built. Admiral Wright's voice came through the communication system. "Liberation, this is Earth Fleet. We engaged the Craven rearguard and slowed them down as much as possible. But we cannot hold them. They are breaking through our lines. I am sorry we could not buy you more time." "You bought us enough," Captain Ross responded. "Thank you, Admiral, for everything." "Give those Craven hell," Wright said, "and tell Lily that Earth is proud of her. All of us are. She showed the galaxy what humanity really means." The communication cut off as the Earthships engaged in a desperate fighting retreat. "The Craven are entering orbital range," a Wraith technician announced. "They are launching attack fighters. 2,000 of them." Elder Cress stood at the center of the command room, his massive form surrounded by displays and controls. "Launch our response." The skies above Wraith Prime filled with dragons, not flying randomly but in precise military formations. They wore devices on their bodies that enhanced their natural electromagnetic abilities. They moved with a coordination that spoke of centuries of training. The Craven fighters met the Wraith defenders in the upper atmosphere. Energy beams lit up the sky like fireworks. But the Wraith were not just dodging and attacking. They were using their electromagnetic powers in ways the Craven had never allowed them to develop. They disrupted targeting systems. They shorted out weapons. They moved in patterns that confused sensor arrays. "They are winning," Dr. Cole whispered in amazement. "The Wraith are winning." "We always could fight," Elder Cress said. "But fighting requires you to kill." The enslaved Wraith were punished every time they killed without permission. It broke their combat instincts, made them hesitant. But we Free Wraith never forgot how to defend our home. More Kraven ships entered orbit and began bombarding the planet's surface. Shields sprang up around cities and the spaceport. Energy barriers generated by thousands of Wraith working together. The bombardment struck the shields and scattered harmlessly. They cannot break through, Bren said. He was monitoring the battle from a tactical display. The Wraith defenses are too strong. The Kraven are losing fighters faster than they can launch them. But the Kraven fleet commander was not giving up. His voice boomed across all communication channels. Wraith creatures and human terrorists. You cannot win. We have 300 ships. You have 40. We will glass this planet from orbit if necessary. Surrender now and we will show mercy. Mercy. Elder Cress repeated the word like it tasted bitter. The Kraven do not know mercy. They know only domination. He activated a communication channel that reached every ship in orbit. Kraven fleet. You are trespassing in Wraith space. You have enslaved our people for 400 years. You have tortured them, killed them, tried to break their spirits. But you failed. They survived. They found allies, and now they have come home. This is your only warning. Leave now or face the consequences. The Kraven commander laughed. You think we fear you? You are primitives hiding on a backwater world. You have no power here, don't we? Elder Cress said. He touched a control panel with his claw. Every Wraith on the planet stopped what they were doing. All 60,000 of them. They closed their eyes and focused. Their electromagnetic fields synchronized, linking together into one massive network. The air itself began to shimmer with energy. What are they doing? Lily asked. Something we have been preparing for 400 years, Elder Cress said. The Kraven thought they destroyed our civilization. They were wrong. They only scattered us, made us hide, but we never stopped building, never stopped preparing. We knew that someday they would come for us again. So we made this world into a weapon. The planet itself began to glow. Energy surged up from the crystal mountains, channeled through millions of natural formations that the Wraith had shaped over centuries. That energy focused and amplified the electromagnetic fields of every Wraith until it became a pulse of pure power that swept out from the planet in a wave. The wave hit. The Kraven fleet in every system failed: shields, weapons, life, support, navigation, communications. 300 warships went dark simultaneously, floating dead in space. Incredible, Dr. Vesh breathed. They turned the entire planet into an electromagnetic pulse generator, but focused and controlled. Our ships are fine because they are in the protected zone, but the Kraven fleet is completely disabled. We will not kill them, Elder Cress said. That would make us like them. Instead, we will give them a choice. The choice they never gave our people. They can surrender and stand trial for 400 years of crimes, or they can try to repair their ships and flee. Either way, they will never threaten the Wraith again. The Kraven fleet drifted helplessly. On the command ship, the fleet commander stared at his dead screens and finally understood. The Wraith were not primitives. They never had been. They were an advanced civilization that had chosen mercy over revenge, even when revenge would have been justified. We surrender, he said into the emergency backup communication system. The Kraven Empire surrenders. Cheering erupted in the command center. Humans hugged Wraith. Freed prisoners cried with joy. Children who had been watching from the shelters ran out to join the celebration. The battle was won without a single death on either side. But Lily did not cheer. She stood at the window looking up at the disabled fleet and felt sad. What is wrong? Ashkor asked, coming to stand beside her. We won, we are safe. I know, Lily said. But I keep thinking about all the Kraven on those ships. The young ones like Bren who did not want to fight but were forced to. The ones who are just following orders because they don't know any better. They are prisoners too, in a way. Prisoners of a system that taught them cruelty instead of kindness. You want to help them, Ashkor said. It was not a question. Is that stupid? Lily asked. No, the dragon said gently. It is human. It is why we bonded with you in the first place. You see past enemies and monsters to the beings underneath. That is your gift. Elder Cress joined them at the window. The human child is right, he said. The Kraven Empire is falling apart. Not because we destroyed it, but because its foundation was rotten, built on slavery and fear. Young Kraven like your friend Bren are already questioning everything they were taught. If we offer them a better way, some of them will take it. What kind of better way? Captain Ross asked. A new alliance, Elder Crest said. Not based on domination but cooperation. The Wraith have our strength. Humans have their compassion and bonding abilities. Other species have their own gifts. Together we could build something the galaxy has never seen, a true union of equals. The Council of Species exists for that, Dr. Vesh pointed out. But it is weak and corrupt. The powerful species control it. Then we build something new, Lily said. The idea was forming in her mind even as she spoke. A new council. One that starts with species who have been hurt by the Empire. The enslaved. The conquered. The forgotten. We know what it is like to be powerless, so we will make sure no one else has to feel that way. Over the next weeks, that is exactly what happened. The Craven Fleet prisoners were given fair treatment and offered choices. Some stood trial for war crimes. Others, the younger ones who had committed no atrocities, were offered education and training in a new way of thinking. Many accepted. Species from across the galaxy heard about what happened at Wraith Prime. They saw recordings of human children bonding with dragon creatures. They saw the Craven Fleet defeated without a single death. They saw mercy offered to enemies, and they wanted to be part of it. The new alliance formed with 7 founding species: humans, Wraith, the Welkin, the Thorn, and 3 others who had suffered under Craven rule. They wrote a charter based on one simple idea. Every being deserves freedom and respect regardless of their power or appearance. Earth officially joined 6 months later, bringing resources and ships and thousands of volunteers. Admiral Wright retired from the military to serve as the human ambassador to the new alliance. Captain Ross became the governor of a joint human-Wraith colony they called New Haven. Dr. Cole led research into species compatibility, discovering 12 other potential bonding pairs like humans and Wraith. Dr. Vesh was granted asylum and spent his time documenting everything for history. Bren helped reform Craven culture, working with other young Craven to build a new society based on cooperation instead of conquest. It was slow work, but he never gave up. And Lily? She became exactly what Elder Crest said she would be. A symbol, a reminder that sometimes the smallest person can make the biggest difference. She split her time between Earth and Wraith Prime, helping newly freed Wraith adjust to freedom and teaching other children how to approach them. On her 8th birthday, they held a celebration in New Haven. Hundreds of beings attended. Wraith flew overhead in aerial displays. Children from a dozen species played together. Former enemies shared food and stories. Lily sat on a hill overlooking the celebration, with Ashkor lying beside her. The dragon was massive now that he was properly fed and healthy. His scales gleamed in the sunlight. "Do you ever miss how things were before?" Lily asked. "Before the Craven captured you?" "Every day," Ashkor admitted. "I miss my family, my home, the 80 years I lost. But I gained something too. I gained you. Tim, Hope and Storm and Ember, all the humans who saw past what I was turned into and remembered what I really am." "What are you really?" Lily asked. "A person," Ashkor said simply.
"Just like you."
"Different body, different world, but the same heart. The Craven tried to take that away from me. You gave it back." Tim ran up the hill with Ember following behind. The green Wraith had grown larger and more confident. The 5-year-old boy rode on the dragon's back like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Lily, come celebrate," Tim called. "They are going to light the fireworks soon." "Coming," Lily called back. She stood and brushed grass from her dress. Then she paused and looked at Ashkor. "Do you think we really changed things? Or will everything go back to how it was?" "Things will never go back," Ashkor said with certainty. "You cannot unsee what has been seen. The galaxy watched children make friends with monsters. They watched mercy win over violence. They watched the powerless become powerful through connection instead of conquest. That changes everything, forever." "I hope you are right," Lily said. "I am," Ashkor said, "because you gave the galaxy something it desperately needed, but did not know how to ask for. You gave us hope. And hope, once planted, grows in ways no one can predict." They walked down the hill together, a small human girl and a massive dragon, toward a celebration that brought together beings who should have been enemies but chose to be family instead. Above them, the sky filled with fireworks that painted the air in colors from a dozen different worlds. And across the galaxy, on planets and stations and ships, other beings watched the recordings from New Haven and wondered, if a 7-year-old human child could change everything with nothing but compassion and courage, what could they do? What could any of them do if they just chose to see past their fears? The galaxy would never have a simple answer to that question, but it had something better. It had proof that asking the question was worth it, that taking the risk of connection was worth it, that choosing kindness over cruelty, understanding over fear, and hope over despair could literally change the fate of civilizations. All because one small girl looked at a monster and saw a friend. All because one dragon chose mercy over survival. All because sometimes the most powerful thing in the universe is not weapons or ships or empires. Sometimes the most powerful thing is simply caring enough to try.